Okay, here we are, Matthew Russell Lee, Inner City Press, here at the Southern District of New York Courthouse, today, Monday, September 30th, 2024. Now, we're all about Eric Adams. The indictment Thursday, the arraignment Friday, and this morning, a motion to dismiss. A motion to dismiss filed by Alex Spiro of Quinn Emanuel, his lawyer. He's also gotten William Burke on the case. William Burke, who we previously covered when he represented Steve Bannon in the We Build the Wall case. In any event, we'll have a full disclosure at the end of this. In any event, the motion to dismiss is focused not on the whole case, it seems. At least the one that we've written about is only about count 5. It's a section 666 claim. And as some have pointed out, thank you, dear readers, there is a Second Circuit case. There was a case of the Ng Lap Seng. It's a UN corruption case that we also covered because the UN is corrupt, as noted in this whole Turkish UN mission thing. But Ng Lap Seng was a case more directly about UN corruption, in which a Chinese CCP businessman named Ng Lap Seng paid bags of cash, greasy bags of cash, to the President of the General Assembly, John Ash, to come and promote a UN casino. He wanted it to be seen as UN, but it was a casino in Macau for money, using the UN flag. The indictment was brought. No one really in the UN, the PGA is a strange legal construction, so he was indicted. He died in mysterious circumstances under his own barbell while ostensibly weightlifting in his house in Dobbs Ferry. You can look that case up. In any case, that seems to be a case that's relevant and on point. We're going to be covering every twist and turn of not only Eric Adams, but Phil Banks. We posted a photograph of him entered into evidence here in a case, U.S. versus Grant, of Phil Banks in Israel shooting a machine gun. You can check it out at Inner City Press on Twitter. So there's the Eric Adams piece. Now, also here today in SDNY, kind of a little lower people are interested in it because of merger arbitrage. There are the closing arguments in Federal Trade Commission versus Tapestry, their famous merger with Capri, proposed merger in which Kate Spade and Michael Kors would be forever linked, thereby driving up the price of accessible luxury. Not sure what the market definition is, but we'll find out, I'm sure. We'll be covering that. We're covering Sean Combs, of course. Sean Combs, there's a lot of machinations around the civil cases. Jane Doe, appellate division. There's supposed to be something coming up, but it may be canceled because they're unlike Eric Adams. I'm not sure Sean Combs is going to move to dismiss quite so quickly. Now, on the Trump docket, which we of course continue to cover, I guess more generally on the Trump docket, there's this Times story about 90 cases by Republicans trying to gum up the works. There are of course other cases trying to gum up the works, including one by the federal government against Alabama. But I digress. We're going to be covering closely this week the move and the filing due on October 1st, which is tomorrow, by the Trump team to try to keep sealed the Jack Smith large sealed brief about which we did a song in DDC before Judge Chutkan. So be looking for that. Now, I said there'd be a full disclosure, and there will. Quinn Emanuel, which is the firm of Alex Spiro and William Burke, and I think Avi, there's a number of them that have jumped in. They pro bono wrote to the UN on behalf of Inner City Press, seeking an end to the ban instituted by Antonio Guterres and his chief of censorship, Melissa Fleming. But Melissa Fleming, an American citizen getting paid massive public dollars to deal with media accreditation at the UN, never bothered to answer Quinn Emanuel, nor Dwayne Morris after them, who wrote a pro bono letter. That's the full disclosure to say, in covering them, whatever, but also to show the depths of UN corruption. Today may be the final day of the debate of the UN General Assembly, and we'll cover that as well, because it'll be the final volley of what's called rights of reply, in which Armenia and Azerbaijan go at it, India and Pakistan go at it. Surprisingly, China and the Philippines, Indonesia versus Vanuatu. It's typical. Meanwhile, of course, the world is on fire, and Antonio Guterres is just counting his money and banning the press. But more on that anon. InnerCityPress.com. We're going in.